Hello and welcome to the Medical Sales Podcast, and I am your host, Samuel. In this podcast, I interview top medical sales reps and leading medical sales executives across the entire country. And it doesn't matter what medical sales industry, from medical device to pharmaceutical to genetic testing to diagnostic lab, you name it. You will learn how to either break into the industry, be a top 5% performer within your role in sales, or climb the corporate ladder. Welcome to the Medical Sales Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Medical Sales Podcast. I'm your host, Samuel, and today we have with us another special guest. But this one's extra special because he's one of our very own. He's a graduate from our program, the Medical Sales Career Builder Program, and in less than 2 months was able to land a position for, I'm not going to give it away, but I am going to tell you his name, and his name is Eric Johnson. For those of you that want to get into this industry, and this is something you've always wanted to do, or maybe this is something that's come to you recently, but you're convicted that you believe it's for you, whether it be medical device, pharmaceutical, diagnostic testing, genetic testing, biotech, you need to go to evolvesuccess.com because the story you're about to hear is exactly what he did. He filled out the application, he scheduled some time, he spoke to one of our account executives, and now I get to share this interview. As always, we do our best to bring you innovative guests that are doing things differently in the medical sales space, including our very young graduates. And I really do hope you enjoy this interview. Hey, Eric, how are we doing today?
I'm doing well, Sam. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm happy that you're here. Why don't you tell everybody who you are and what you do?
My name is Eric Johnson, and I actually recently just got hired with Medtronic in their STEP training program.
So the reason why this is so special that I'm talking to Eric today is because Eric went through the Medical Sales Career Builder Program, and through that program, he stepped into his opportunity with Medtronic, and it's just a fascinating experience to be a part of that and witness that with him and help him get there with our team. So, we're going to talk about it today, Eric, because people need to know, some of the amazing things that happened while you're in our program. But first, you just, right before we started, you just told me that you had your first day in surgery. Is that correct? Tell us about that.
Yeah. Wow. It was awesome. Like I said, I've only been here. I just got the job. And 2 months ago, when I interviewed for this position, I didn't really think about where I would be, right now. So all I could think about yesterday when I stepped in an OR was like, wow, I'm here. This is it. I'm watching an incredible doctor perform an incredible surgery. It was a lobectomy. So they were removing part of the lung because there was cancer indicated there. So it was just really it was awesome to just be a part of and kind of be in the room. Not that I did really much because very new. I'm just really trying to take everything in, take some notes and things like that. But it was so cool to see.
That is just amazing. Okay, so let's go back because right now there are people listening and they're wanting to be exactly where you are. Take us to before you found our program. What was going on in your life? What were you wanting to go on in your life? Give us a little bit of context there.
Yeah. So I guess I'll go back to the very beginning. When I was close to finishing college, I also got a job at a car dealership to help pay for that last year. I was doing school online, pandemic hit. It was last year of school, and I wanted to be able to pay for it as I went. So I was selling cars. It was my first sales experience, and it was great, but I knew I wanted more. I wanted, corporate experience and things like that. And I have some friends and family that are in medical device, not necessarily sales, but that's what they do.
Sure.
So they suggested, well, maybe you could, use your sales experience to transition into that. I studied finance in school too, so I also had that business background. So I decided to try to pursue it, but no luck. And every time I was looking for a job over the next 3 years, I would try and apply it to medical device companies, of course, the big ones, like Stryker, Johnson & Johnson, things like that. And and even some small ones that I've never heard of but showed up on job searches, and I would maybe get an interview here and there, but nothing was sticking. So I did some digging, and because I knew this is where I wanted to be, and so this past summer 2023, I started looking for some kind of outside help to see if I could get where I want to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, continue. So when you started looking for outside help, tell us exactly what happened. How did you find us?
I was actually, yeah, that's the incredible part. It was kind of by chance. So I'm looking at LinkedIn, which is my daily ritual at this time. I was still working,
Sure.
and yeah, trying to, I was in sales still, and doing that day to day, but at nights in the meantime, I was on LinkedIn and other job search websites, and I saw a post by you through, because LinkedIn does that. We weren't connected yet, but LinkedIn does, there's like certain degrees of like being removed from somebody,
Mm-hmm.
but you can still see their
Mm-hmm.
post. So I saw you because a mutual friend I think might have liked your post, and it said something like, I've helped servers at restaurants get into medical
Mm-hmm.
sales. I've helped
Yeah.
nurses, and I've helped salespeople. And that I saw that and I was like, that's me. I used to be a server when I'd come home from college over the summer, and right now I'm in sales doing like tech sales and things like
Right.
that. I need to. I'm just gonna comment and connect with you just to see what happens, right? Like I looked at your profile, you had thousands of people following you, so I'm like, yeah, who's like this just random guy, me over here. We'll see what happens. And so
Sure.
to my surprise, you just checked in, you DM'd me and just said, hey, like, how's your job search going? And kind of took it from there. So and then the rest is history. Told me about your program, and I was instantly like, this is for me. This is definitely what I've been looking for.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, one thing that's fascinating about your story is you were in the program for a relatively short time. The average client, usually it takes about 4 months. We try to push for three, but it takes about 4 months. And in a lot of cases, it can take up to 5 or 6 months. But for you, it was kind of record breaking speed. I mean, I think what, a month and a half, almost 2 months, I think,
Yeah.
for you. So, and one of the things that was so cool about your experience was who you met at one of the events. So please, I'm not gonna do the story justice because you were there. I
Yeah.
knew about it, but you were there. Talk to us about what happened in that scenario.
Yeah, so first off, that was another like big thing for me when we were having our discussion about your program. Is like, we'll get you into medical device, we'll get you where you want to be in 90 days. So you told me. So I was like, that sounds awesome. Like, and I did sign up for a job fair conference in August of 2023, about 2 months ago. Um and so I was already I was going to that, but I still wanted to see what you guys can help me out with, and you told me about all the professional development, so that was really valuable to me. I don't think I would have gotten the job without it, but through your program, and because I signed up, you have a huge alumni network too, and you were able to connect me with somebody that graduated your program and got a job at Medtronic, where I am now. And that was an incredible connection. I remember I was packing and getting ready to go to this event, like it was the night before, and you called me like that night, and you're like, hey, you're going to the conference for the job fair,
Right.
right? And I was like, yeah, I am. He's like, hey, I have somebody. I'm gonna connect you with her because she's an alumni. She's gonna be great. She works for Medtronic, and I was like, oh, awesome. I'm interviewing. I had 2 interviews set up with them, and so we met when I got there. It was in Dallas. We met that night after I flew in, and I spoke with her for probably like almost 3 hours. Like it was
Wow. Three
incredible.
hours.
3 hours, yeah.
Wow.
Super insightful conversation. She's telling
Mhm.
me about what it's like to work for Medtronic. She actually just finished the SEP, their like this. I don't want to call it the SEP program because the P in STEP stands for program, but
Sure.
but it just default to it. So,
Sure.
um, but she had just finished STEP and was kind of telling me what to expect for the position that I was interviewing for, and telling me to come with a story and you know bring a story, because that something that's compelling.
Mhm.
And so I thought about that night. I kind of had something, but it wasn't refined, I guess. Um, but I mentioned, you know, during my interviews the next day, you know, I had family members and some mentors of mine that are
Sure,
at medical device, and they really
sure,
kind of inspired me to use my sales background that I had
sure,
to
sure.
move here. Um, and yeah, no, so I would not have had that connection without without the program, without your help. It was awesome. So,
That I mean, that's such a beautiful story.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us, what would you say the three best things you experienced in your time in the program?
Three best things in the program. I think number one, the people that you know that I met, the connections that I made through the program, because that's something that helped me out a lot. It helps to, you know, when you have a build, like you build a network of mentors and peers that, like, because I met some of my classmates and like that too, and that kind of stuff is just really valuable. And I learned a lot, like, from, you know, helping me with, you know, interview prep and you know, resume kind of things like that. So that, you know, super is invaluable. Number two, of course, the content. This has been the summer of professional development for me.
Mhm.
I spent, you know, before your program and then during it, just doing so much professional development. I'm a very different Eric Johnson than I was six
Hey,
months
own
ago.
it. Come
Yeah, no,
on.
I love it. I love it. So and it's just it's been awesome.
Mhm.
And then I mean I guess like the best part about the program is it worked. Like I'm where I've
Yeah.
wanted to be for 3 years now. Um in an operating room, doing the job, learning about the job. You know, I'm this training program is very intense, but it's so cool. I can't describe, I guess, how excited I am. But
That's awesome. I love it, Eric. You know, one thing I like to highlight is when you joined, you had a pretty strong idea of where you wanted to take, you know, which field you wanted to do within medical sales. And let me say this, you know, for us, medical sales does not mean medical device sales. For us, medical sales means any sales pertaining to healthcare,
Mhm.
pharmaceutical, genetic testing, diagnostic testing, medical device trauma, medical device elective. I mean, we can go on and on and on. Even medical sales tech, as in software sales within medicine. You know, it all for us, it all falls under the umbrella of medical sales. And you had an idea, but you know, because of the way our program is set up, you were able to identify and kind of zone in on a very specific field. Talk to us a little bit about what that experience was like for you.
Yeah, so yeah, like you mentioned, like I kind of had an idea. Like I knew it was going to be a medical device. I had some preferences of where I wanted to be, because I just think that stuff is so fascinating. First off, like it's just the stuff that we're in the I'm in the med surge operating unit
Mhm.
with Medtronic now. So it and seeing some of the stuff that we're making, these innovative devices that we have, is just, it's like mind blowing that somebody was able to think about how to create these things. So I love that kind of stuff. Um, but even early on, like it was a lot of it was like I just want to get my foot in the door. I don't really care you know what it is, but it was nice, like you mentioned, like having a focus. Because we just talked about that one-on-one. We had a
Yeah.
really nice call about that. You know, talk about the kind of person that I am and kind
Mhm.
of I guess worker, because that kind of plays a role in it,
Mhm.
is what, you know, your work ethic is. You might be better fit for
Mhm.
spine or this or that.
Right.
So
Right.
um yeah, so that I think really helped with keep me focused. And then this I'm tying it to something, but going to the conference and interviewing with this focus in mind, that I wanted to be in some sort of medical device that focused, I guess, on surgery,
Mhm.
especially, really helped. I think helped me stand out a little bit, and helped
Mhm.
me make sure that I'm presenting my best self in these interviews when I'm talking to people that, like, because like I didn't have any medical experience. You know,
Mhm.
I had the sales part, but
Mhm.
And people were like, that's the hard part to learn, the sales and the things like that. And I was like, really? Because a lot of this like technical and clinical stuff to me is
It's hard.
that's the hard part. Yeah. And I'm doing it right now, and it's like I'm getting it, but there's just so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think, I think it's, I personally believe that it's a bit of a fallacy to think that when I hear people say, I just want to get in, I just want to get in, how are you expected to separate yourself from every other candidate that wants to get in when your mindset is, I just want to get in, right? It serves you to learn what's out there, understand what's out there and see how it resonates with you, and then have an actual targeted field that you're entertaining. Now, do you need to be married to that field? Do you need to only do that field? Absolutely not. But if you initiate this process with a field in mind, you're going to go so much further than I just want to get in. And another thing that, reason that we do it that way and not support, I just want to get in, is because a lot of those people that say, I just want to get in, just get in, and then 5 months later they quit because they didn't understand what they were getting into and they can't stand it. And that could have all been avoided if you took the time to align the field you want with who you actually are and how you want to show up. And you did exactly that. That is fantastic, Eric. So let's go back. Let's relive some of the excitement that you've just recently experienced. I want you to go back to, you're in the program. You've had your most recent interviews for Medtronic, and then fast forward to you get the call that, or actually it's not even the call. I think you were told in person, but fast forward to you're told that you're in. I mean, walk us through exactly what that was like. Tell us everything.
yeah, no, that was probably the best moment of my life, that conference post interview. So I mean, right there after I finished interviewing, I spoke to like a bunch of Medtronic, some VP of sales, and actually a couple of VP of sales interviewed me. That there were people hosting, but then post interview, I met with some others, and they were asking me, how did the interview go? What'd you think of it? And I was like, that was great. I really enjoyed speaking with everybody that I met so far. It was a great, just a great time, and it almost felt, it didn't even feel like an interview. It was more of a conversation. I'm just kind of getting to know them and learning about the position, and they're getting to know me and learning about my experiences. After my initial interviews, I met with them because I got a phone call saying, oh, hey, we want to discuss an offer with you, which I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting it to be that quick of a turnover. And so I ended up going back to their table and talked about, I interviewed with the med surge business unit, and then also the cardiac rhythm management business unit, and got offers for both, and just had to weigh my choices right there. They didn't make me choose, of course. I got to go home and talk about it, but because I got both those offers, and everybody liked me and I loved them, I felt amazing. They hosted a party, like a little celebration party afterwards, and I felt like a star because everybody came to me and was like, hey, are you Eric Johnson? I heard that you had a wonderful interview today. And I was
awesome.
like, me? Like, I just,
right.
And so hear all these people that like I want to be them, and they're like, hey, like I want to meet you and talk to you. So that was super cool. I had so many great conversations, and met with a lot of people that inspire me to do better. And I now that I'm here, I'm like, I can't wait to prove myself and show them that they made the right decision, that they're investing in me. Just a lot of people investing in me in order to make the program that I'm in. It took a lot of great minds. So I'm excited to pay it back, show them that it's working, and I was worth it. So
yeah, you bet. You're gonna knock them off their socks. Absolutely. Blow it out of the park. That is fantastic, Eric. Like I said earlier, a lot of people are, a lot of our audience falls into two categories. They're either in medical sales in a leadership position or individual contributor position, or they're where you were and they want to be in some type of healthcare sales position. For those that are listening, you went through the program, you know our whole world, you're part of the Evolving Success community. What would you share with the audience members right now that are kind of on the fence and thinking, I don't know if I should do something about this. I keep hearing this guy's podcast. I don't know if I should actually take action. What would you want to share with them about why they should invest in the program?
It's a great question. I think thinking back to me when I was in their position and a little bit on the fence about it, I really just considered, where do I want to be with my career? Do I want to keep on working at these jobs that I'm not fully, passionate about, or, not fully into? I'm just kind of doing them because, I was decent. I'm decent at sales, but I knew that I wanted to be in medical device sales, and like, why not now? I have Samuel here telling me that he's got this great program and they'll get me a job in medical device. Like, what's the wait? Like, why would I want to wait for that? So really consider, if this is what you want to do. I don't think there's a better place to help get you into medical device sales, because you can keep, apply. I applied for, I think I was applying for 5 or 6 months, just online. So, and it wasn't getting me anywhere. So that I really consider, where you want to be with your career. I know what I want to do. I've got a pretty good idea of where I want to be. And I knew that I needed to just, like we mentioned before, get your foot in the door. It's not like, so have that focus, figure out, like, if you're really passionate about a certain
Field.
a certain field, go for that. But it'd be a little open-minded so that you're not pigeonholing yourself and throwing away opportunities. But I think that's the advice I would give. That's how I was thinking at the time.
Fascinating. And I'd love to share that you did have sales experience, but the lion's share of clients that we have, they don't have sales experience or medical experience. And they're getting positions just the same. For example, Crystal, the one that got, that connected with you, that went through the program, she had neither. So it just speaks volumes that the work that we do here is good work. It produces results. And again, we're so happy that you're on the other side and we're able to talk about it today.
I'm so happy. Like, it's still like, it feels real, now that I'm really learning about the body and how our products help save lives. But it's also just like, I keep on thinking about, like, every night before I go to bed, like, wow, I haven't made it yet. I'm not stopping. I'm not settling where I am, but I'm like, I am.
There, you're
here.
in. You're in. You're about to do it.
I'm doing it. Yeah. Exactly.
Come on, man. That's fantastic. Well, Eric, it was awesome having you on the show today. Talk about your experience in the Medical Sales Career Builder program. We're so proud of you. We're going to wrap this up. We have one more thing to do before we do, and that's called the lightning round. Are you ready?
I am. I love, this is like my favorite part of listening to all of it.
So then I don't even need to preempt it, but I'm going to preempt it.
You don't.
So you have less than 10 seconds to answer 4 questions. First question is, in the last 6 months, what's the best book that you have read?
That's a good one, because there's a lot of books that I've read, partially because of the program and partially that all the professional development I'm doing. I'm not stalling. I think the best one that I've read was probably The Power of Habit. One of my coworkers at my last job told me to read it. And it just, I don't know, gave me a really good perspective of, kind of why we do what we do. And because I'm a very habitual person. And how to break bad habits and replace them with better ones. So it's really cool. I think I would recommend it. It's a great read.
Fantastic. Okay. Best TV show or movie you've seen in the last 6 months?
So, especially since I started this job and all the professional development, I haven't had a lot of time to watch any TV. I got to study a lot right now to make sure I'm
right. You absolutely right.
Do. But one of my favorite TV shows, The Boys, just released a new season. I don't know it's like, it's not season 4 because it's like a separate story about like high school superheroes instead, but same universe. And I watched the first episode this morning. It was very good. Love that show.
We're gonna leave that there. The Boys. Yeah. Okay.
Boys.
That's I've seen it. I've seen an episode because one of my son is into it, and I don't even know if he should be, because it's extreme stuff. But we'll leave that there.
It's not the best show.
Yeah. Okay. And then what is the best meal you've had in the last 6 months?
The best. Ooh, okay. So I, for this job, just moved to Boston, one of my favorite cities. So it's another reason why I go to bed every night happy, because I'm like where I like, or where I love to be.
Hey, amen to
My
that.
sister, right? Yeah. My sister also lives here. And because she went to school here, she went to Boston University. She took me to this as like a celebration, this like steak restaurant called Moo. Just Moo. And I think it's like got an ellipses after it. So like Moo dot dot dot.
Okay.
The one of the best. We went there twice actually.
Yeah.
I had a ribeye that was amazing, and then the first time I went, so I was playing it safe, and I like to just get like the biggest steak on the menu, so it was like 20 ounces. It was awesome.
Wow. 20 ounces?
Yeah, I ate it all in one sitting. Like I don't mess around. So
Wow. Okay.
the second time
So
I
so that
went,
so so
oh
so the ribeye from Moo in Boston.
yeah, ribeye from Moo. It was this big piece. The second time I went there, I was like, I want to try, the like one of the better steaks, because the ribeye was great.
Mhm.
So the better steak might be amazing. I had it's like Australian Wagyu.
Mhm.
It was incredible. I've never had anything tastier than that. So,
Wow. Okay,
yeah.
everybody. The ribeye and the Australian Wagyu will be in the show notes. So for any of
Yes.
you that are living in Boston or going to be frequenting Boston anytime soon, make sure you stop by Moo. All
Check
right.
it out.
All
Check it
right.
out.
All right. And then the last question, what's the best experience you've had in the last 6 months?
Best experience back to, but besides getting this job, because that was definitely the my best experience. But I
Right.
want to say something different. Um, like I said, I told you my sister works in medical device. Well, her team got to they won President's Club,
Hey.
and my sister and I we're best friends.
Oh,
So and she also wanted me to like see,
yeah.
her meet her team and kind of see
Yeah.
what medical device has to offer. So she
Mhm.
invited me as her plus one on
Wow.
their President's Club trip to Aruba, and it was such
Wow.
a blast. Just a nice, like a 5-day weekend, relaxing by the beach every day. I mean, I was in the water
Yeah,
every single day, and like going on
man,
little
that's beautiful.
excursions. Oh, it was, yeah, and Aruba is like a beautiful country. Yeah.
It
So
doesn't get better than that, Eric, especially after just getting into the space and then going on a trip like that. Uh,
well, I was in, this was back in June,
okay.
so I was still like looking for a
Wow.
job. So it was like it was a
A
little bit like
motivator. It was a
a
motivator.
motivator, like a sneak peek as to what's to come, because I better
Wow.
believe I will be winning President's Club
Hey, you better
trips.
put it out there.
Exactly.
You heard it, folks. He said it here first.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
Eric, look, it was awesome having you on the show today. We're so proud of you. We're going to see so many amazing things coming from you. And, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Samuel. It was a pleasure to speak with you, being on this. Thank you for let me be on the show. Our interactions just from the very beginning, that very first LinkedIn post that you made, like I changed the course of my life. So
Into
I'll have
that.
to, I can't thank you enough for that.
Hey, thank you for letting me be a witness. And that was Eric Johnson. Need I say more? We have so many opportunities in this life. But the reality is, as time goes on, you'll always be able to create an opportunity, but you want to be able to catch opportunities that can lead to even bigger ones. So if you want to be in this industry, why do the pray and spray method, hoping to find something or catch something, and delay getting into this industry, or maybe already being in this industry and getting into the position you want 1, 2, 3 years? Because the next opportunity that was out there for you 3 years from now won't be there. Why not do something that's going to give you a different result than what you've been experiencing, or do something that's going to take you out of feeling stuck and being at a standstill and on the road to, oh my goodness, I just received an offer letter. Eric's story is powerful because, like so many other clients and so many other graduates, he took action. He wanted to see a change, and here we are. So, if you're a listener of this podcast, you know what I'm going to say, but guess what? I'm going to say it anyway. Make sure you go to evolveyoursuccess.com, fill out an application, and schedule some time with one of our account executives, and let's get you where you need to be. As always, we do our best to bring you guests that are doing things just a little bit differently in the medical sales space. And I really do hope you come back next week for another episode of the Medical Sales Podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And remember, I have a couple programs that show you exactly how to break into the medical sales industry, become a top-performing medical sales professional, and also how to masterfully navigate your career to executive-level leadership. Check out these programs and learn more at evolveyoursuccess.com. Stay tuned for more awesome content with amazing interviews.